Hi guys, good evening. I'm Arjun and I'll be your host for today from College Point. Welcome to the webinar in association with University of Florida. Today we have Mike with us, who is the Director of Graduate Recruiting and Undergraduate Research from UFL. We have Ashley with us, who is the coordinator at UFL. And we also have students, Manan, Manish and Yash from UFL, who will be here to answer your questions today. What we'll do is we'll first conduct the presentation, and post that we'll answer all your questions one by one. So please hold on to your questions till the very end. We'll try and answer your questions during the course. The students will be there to answer. But please, before we start, can we get a thumbs up in the chat box so that we know we are audible to you guys? Please post a yes or a thumbs up in the chat box. Yes, I see a lot of yeses now. Okay, Mike, over to you to start the presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, Arjun, and Farhan, who's been helping us as well. This is great. We started doing these webinars with College Pond 4 or 5 years ago to India, and I look forward to this every year. We have so much interest from the students of India, and it just keeps getting and growing bigger every year. So thank you for joining us today. I know hundreds of you are already logged in, and there's going to be hundreds more. We have a good presentation, and we want to have a great discussion with you today. We're going to go through slides after we do some introductions here on many topics, but there are so many questions that you want to ask. There's always more questions than almost we have time for today in the next 90 minutes or so. So as we're going along, please feel free to ask your questions in the chat, and our students will be answering those as best they can when they're not speaking on the slides, etc. So we are here today for University of Florida, and I direct graduate student recruiting in the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. So we can talk about any of the divisions of engineering, and we have all divisions. And for us, that includes computer science and data science. That is one of the departments in our Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. So we'll start with some introductions. And also this webinar, we have many prospects that are considering about applying for the fall 2024 term for master's programs, but we also have some applicants, some of you that have already applied for the spring term starting in January, and some of you may have heard your decisions, or some are waiting to hear your decisions. So this webinar is applicable for both of your populations. So one of the high up faculty that oversees for our College of Engineering is Associate Dean for all of Academic Affairs, Toshi Nishida. Unfortunately, he is not with us here today, but I wanted to have his name and representation there because we can have the limit of 5 of our representatives here. And I'm Mike Nazareth, so I direct the graduate recruitment to bring in all of the master's and PhD students for our whole college each year. And I've been in touch with many of you. I've been sending out lots of messages, lots of email prospects. Well, I've been sending out the application fee waivers for all of you and following up, and will continue to do that throughout the year.
Hi, I'm Ashley Wilson. I'm the coordinator for graduate recruitment, and I assist Mike Nazareth.
Okay, let's have our students introduce themselves and say a few words.
Is Manan there or?
So Manan's been in and out.
He just emailed me. He's having some technical issues.
Yeah, so maybe he'll be back. Go ahead then, Yash.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Yash Bhalla. I'm a Fall 23 intake for the Computer Science Department. Yeah.
You want to talk about where you came from in India, which institution, maybe just a brief other comments?
Sure. I did my undergrad from Visvesvaraya Technological University back in Bangalore. And back in 2017, I'm a 2021 graduate. And from there, I worked for 2 years with Mercedes-Benz Research and Development India. And now I'm here for my master's.
Great.
Over to you, Manish.
Hello, everyone. I'm Manish Chaudhary Ravipati. I'm from Chennai, and I'm currently doing my master's in electrical and computer engineering. I did my bachelor's from 2018 to 2022, and I came directly for my master's. So it's going good with me. Over to you, Manan.
Hey everyone, I am Manan Rathod. I am a master's student in chemical engineering, and I did my bachelor's from Nirma University in Ahmedabad, and I graduated with my undergrad in 2022 and directly came to US for my master's.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to begin the slides on many topics, and we'll talk about lots of areas, and then I will ask our three students to chime in on various topics. But I know you have questions, so feel free. Starting now, you can ask any questions you want in the chat. And Manan, Yash, and Manish, you try to, respond to as many as possible, and then I'll call on you at various times. So the first thing I wanted to highlight is we have lots of students here from India. This is just some of the institutions. Every time I gather the details on this slide and I put it here, then we're getting more students from different places in India. So Indian students, this is not new to University of Florida. We have a long-standing tradition. We have a very good community here, and you in no way would be by yourself. You will have lots of your culture and lots of fellow students here throughout our programs, which these students from India are primarily in all of the departments of the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering, but this does extend to some other colleges on our campus. University of Florida, if you're not familiar with it, is a very large place. We are one of the largest universities in all of the United States of America. We've been around a very long time, more than 150 years established in our country. We have almost over 900 buildings, getting closer to 1,000 buildings, many thousands of acres, and lots of students. You can see we have over 60,000 college students here at University of Florida. But we're not just an institution that's servicing the undergraduate students. We care deeply about the graduate students, about the master's students, and about the PhD students. So you can see this comprises a large percentage, almost 30%, 25 to 30% of our campus is for graduate students. We have many colleges. Virtually everything a student would want here exists in University of Florida. Beyond engineering, we have a hospital with lots of collaboration for biomedical engineering and other divisions, material science engineering, law school, etc. And the number of fiscal dollars for research is going up every year. And this is money that can then go back into the labs in engineering and across campus for the benefit of the graduate students. We have our own lakes, 2 of them, in fact. So there's lots of social events allowed for the students. One is on campus, and one is a short bus ride away from our campus. Our Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering is not new either. We've been around a long time, more than 100 years. We have virtually every department of engineering, and this also includes the very popular computer science and data science. We have over 300 faculty on the tenure track, and more than that if you consider all of the other instructors and assistant level professors. We have almost 11,000 students. So when you talk about 60,000 students on our campus, close to 11,000 of those are for engineering. The breakdown in our college is about 1/3 PhD students and about 2/3 students who are master's students. We are ranked very high, and we're very proud of this. So this just came out 1 month ago, the Wall Street Journal, and I put the links on there for the 2024 rankings, ranked the University of Florida as the #1 public university in all of the United States. So we're very proud of that. Another very prestigious rankings is US News and World Report, and we are ranked #6. Last 2 or 3 years, we were ranked #5. So we've been in this #5, #6 ranking of the top public universities and #1. So we rank very high among all these prestigious rankings for the quality of our programs, the breadth and expansion of our faculty, and the depths of our good students, like the students from India that come here. This is a full list of all of our departments, so you can see virtually any area that you would be interested in, we offer here. We have all of these different divisions for subjects. So if there's an area that you're interested in for a master's degree, it's very, very likely, probably 99% probability that we're going to offer this here for you at our university. And we have 2 new exciting programs. So many of you have been getting emails from me. You've been getting application fee waivers. So I have to highlight our 2 newest programs. We're offering these for the first time for fall 2024. So a lot of you want data science. In our CISE department, computer science and information sciences is so full, max and beyond, with over 2,000 applications. We just can't come close to taking all of the great students. So we opted to put the new degree, Masters of Applied Data Science, in a different department so that we can take more great students, and we hope we will have a lot of them from India. So the department is the Engineering Education Department, and the new degree is Masters of Applied Data Science and Masters of Artificial Intelligence. And I know some of you are very interested in those. There's the lead faculty professor overseeing the startup of these, Katia Silva. And there's the website she just gave me last week that details some of the curriculum. I do have application fee waivers, and I will be happy to provide them to you. And the GRE is waived for these new programs. So you have to fill out that form, and I'll give you the link here if you have not done that already. That's how you are considered. If you want, many of you that want computer science or data science straight up in our CISE department, you can switch to this one, and we can give you the application fee waiver, and the GRE is waived. Or you can stay in the CISE track. There is no application fee waiver. The GRE is not waived. Or you can do both. You could submit 2 applications, one in that department and one in this one. There are separate faculty that review those decisions, and you could get admitted to both or one and not the other. So that is an option for you, and we really want to promote that. When I talked to this faculty, the professor Katia last week, she said they're looking to bring in 100 students. So that for their first class next fall, they're looking to have 50 students in each of those programs. So of course we need a couple hundred apps in each to achieve that. But that if she was open to even having a bit more than that, because this is the first time. So we'll see as the applications come in, but it would be at least 100 students in these new areas. So many of our departments have rankings as well. So we have college rankings and university rankings, and then you can see some of our departments, and they're all doing very well in the top 10 and the top 20 of their respective areas. So you get a very high quality education here at University of Florida, and we're very, very proud of that fact. So if we want to break this down to students from India, I told you we have a large community of Indian students here on our campus. Well, here's the exact numbers. I pulled all of these numbers from our fall 2023 enrollment when our classes started in the towards the later parts of August. And this is what we have. So we have over 1,000. So we have maybe 3,300 students in our College of Engineering, and 1,057 of those were students from India. So you're well represented. This does not have engineering education, the new one that I just talked about. The acronym for that will be EED, Engineering Education Department, because next fall will be the first time that they're taking master's students. So we expect to have another 100 students in there next fall. And I would love to have 3/4 of those students from India, because it's such a popular major. You're the #1 country in the world for being popular for that major, and we're all well aware of that. In fact, I had a meeting last Thursday. I was asked to present to all of the deans of our college and the faculty chair of every one of our departments, and I talked about this and said the high interest from India, and they were excited to hear about that. In fact, other departments are excited too, because they would like to see more students from India beyond the CISE and ECE department and new applied data science and engineering ed. They'd like to have more students across. So that's why for the first time this year, we're giving application fee waivers across all of the departments, and we're really giving a lot to the students from India. All right, keep your questions going in the chat because we have our 3 students here answering all of your questions, and then I'm going to have them talk in just a minute. So this slide here shows the facilities. So I talked about how many, almost 11,000 students. Well, we have over 60 buildings, and these 60 buildings are just for engineering and computer science. So it's a massive operation. You're not going to be in just one building. You're going to be spread out. You wouldn't be in 60 buildings, but you could easily be in 5 different buildings and spread across campus. So we also don't just have engineering in one section of campus. We have things all over. So you can see the beautiful parts of all of our campus and work with and cross collaborate with students in other majors and stuff. And that's what we really like here at University of Florida. So we have some newer buildings. This one opened up for engineering it's been almost 3 years now. I feel like this just opened yesterday. This was the Herbert Wertheim Laboratory for Engineering Excellence. And this is a cross collaboration building just for engineering students. It's got undergrads, it's got graduate students, it's got faculty offices, it's got labs that go between departments on different thrust topics. And it's a welcome collaborative space. So the old model was you have a building just for maybe computer science majors or just for nuclear engineering students. And the newer model in the last so many years and going forward is cross collaboration. So buildings with students across all of our engineering departments. And that leads us to one of our brand newest buildings that's opening up next month. And that was made available by a partnership with NVIDIA. And we are to house the fastest artificial intelligence supercomputer in higher education across all of the universities in the United States. And they gave a very large donation. That picture right there is of the HyperGator supercomputer that we have here at University of Florida. And you would have the opportunity to work through this with your projects and with your research. And so the new building, we started construction on this more than 2 years ago. We have another large donation from a former alumni, Malachowski, and it's called Malachowski Hall for Data Science and Information Technology. That's the rendering of the building before ground was broken. That's a picture of yesterday of what it looks like right now. The outside is done. The interior is mostly done, and it's going to be opening up next month. This will house the CISE department. The home and main offices will move to this building. The home and main offices for ECE, Electrical and Computer Engineering, will move to this building. I think this building has 6 or 7 floors. CISE will have their own floor. ECE will have their own floor. They'll still maintain other buildings on our campus for faculty and graduate student spaces and labs. But the headquarter offices, if you will be in here. There's other engineering departments that will have labs and offices in here. If you go to the website, they have a web page and it gives you a floor by floor and tells you all the labs in each specific area that's in there. But we want to be known as AI University going forward. So we're spending considerable funds and expanding programs in these areas so that will go along with our claims of what we want to do, that we're backing that up with our actions. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of extra things as international students. You're all going to need an F1 student visa. So usually I ask the director of F1 visas for our UF International Center to come and present, but we were limited by people today. So she sent me her slides. Today's webinar is for prospects. Some of you know you're going to be applying to University of Florida. Some of you are just considering it. You want to learn a little bit more before you make your decision. But we will have other webinars in the spring term for all of the admits, for all the students getting admitted, and I will ask her to come then. So here's some of her slides. And you can follow it up and go to the International Center websites, because I'm not going to spend too much time on these because this is not an area of my expertise, but there's all sorts of things involved. And much of this you can't do until you get the official admit letter, right? But we have processes. You have to get the I-20 for us, which would be after you get the admit letter. You have to get the F1 visa from your embassy. There's dates and deadlines. There's check-in process once you come to United States and Gainesville, etc. So she updated the cost there for the grad students. I think this would be for this year. And then, of course, it could stay the same next year, go up a little. But we do give the Academic Achievement Award for the engineering and computer science students. So that takes $4,500 off. And then the I-20 process. So this, again, is for you to start reviewing on the websites. And they have people, individual F1 advisors for you to contact. And they go by your last name, your surname, and they divide it up among their 9 or 10 or 15 different advisors, and you work with them separately. I don't think they divide it by country. They divide it by last name, and then they would work with their case. But you'll have to go to your embassies, and this takes time. So we try to get the admits to you mostly in the spring, but I'm working with the chairs and the deans this year to see if we can move that up and get some of those admits out sooner, because you can go to your embassies without that in the I-20. And there's SEVIS, all of the details and paperwork you have to do. And then there's check-in processes once you get to Gainesville. But there will be lots of people to help you with that, because we have lots of students here, and we have WhatsApp group. We have all sorts of things so that the current students from India can help the future students from India. So, and then you're going to have these regulations once you get your visa of keeping the visa and what you can work. Some of you want to work while you're in classes. There's rules and requirements on how many hours you can work and the types of jobs, but all of this International Center and our students can guide you through that. And then, of course, if you want to try to get internships with companies, which is very important. So we'll talk about that too. Well, if you go to the website and click on these links, then they'll tell you the specific people that can advise you. By the way, all of these slides and the recording of this webinar will be posted on our website. And so you don't have to write all of these down, and the additional webinars we'll post those too. I'll send a message out to all of you. I should have all of your names by tomorrow morning who attended this or signed up, and I'll make sure you have that link. Actually, I probably have that link in this slideshow as we get going. Okay, just 1 or 2 more slides for me, and then it's time for the students to talk. So today's webinar is about the master's degree. I believe all of you are interested in the master's degree. So the master's degree is an on-campus degree in person, which is what all of you want. I know you want to come to the United States. And for the international students, it is mostly 2 years, 4 semesters. There's a few students in 3 semesters, 1.5, but that's really more some students that are here in the US. So it's 4 semesters. It's a 2-year commitment. It's mostly course-based, where you take courses so you can get an increased specialization and knowledge in subject areas so that you can go get a job. That's what I see most of the students from India want, and other countries. Some of you could be joining us from other countries, the same as well. But we do have options where it could be thesis-based or research-based, because some of you might want to continue to the PhD. Or maybe you're not sure, so you want to keep that option open for 2 years from now. So that is an option as well, courses plus some additional stuff. We do have what's called EDGE. EDGE is the online degrees. So that's, you would not come to the US. You would stay there in India and you would take your classes online. That's usually 3 to 4 semesters. The tuition is reduced. So that is an option. It's just not an option in all of our programs. So each of our departments and programs can decide if they want to offer the online, and that changes each year. So we have a web page on that lists all the programs that do offer it, if that's something that interests you. But I know most of you want to come to the United States. And then again, you can stay for the PhD. Many students do if that's what you're looking at. I know most want to just go get the job. and you would have an advantage. So if you're here as a master's student at University of Florida and you're doing well, then you definitely have advantage over new applicants that apply straight to the PhD, because you're already here, you're already in classes, and our faculty can already see how well you're performing. So that definitely increases your chances. Okay, so we want to talk about admissions. So I'm going to let the students talk, and then I'll go over the numbers. So why don't we start with Yash? You just want to talk a little bit about what you recall from admissions and any advice you have for the students?
Sure, Mike. So I remember applying for University of Florida back in December of 2022, and I got my admit by around April, mid-April. And I would say, if you want to know my GRE scores, I had a total of 310 with 4 in AWA and a TOEFL of 111. So since then it was a smooth sailing. You can always reach out to the department coordinator regarding if you are stuck somewhere, or you can reach out to the seniors. We'll have WhatsApp groups, and they were very helpful throughout the process. Even I had some dumb questions. I had some really new questions which helped everybody else also. So don't feel shy on asking questions that are on your mind, because I've been there. We all have been there. And it's tough to move to a new country, and you might have some questions, or your parents might have some questions. So do ask them, and we'll help you throughout the way. And from there, if I remember the timeline correctly, I got my admission letter in April. I got my visa by first week of June, and I was here mid-August. So yeah, that was my timeline.
Okay, good. Thank you, Yash. For the rest of you, feel free to keep typing your questions in the chat, and the students will respond. So CISE gets the most applications, so they're the most chance of getting delayed. They've been getting over 2,000 applications, but we're trying to spread that out a little bit more with the new offerings for applied data science and artificial intelligence systems in a different department now, engineering education. Our second biggest department for students from India has been our electrical and computer engineering department. Manish, you want to talk about your experience?
Yeah, sure. I'm from EC department. My experience with the EC department is smooth and ongoing. Like with respect to EC department, we didn't have any GRE. We had GRE waiver, so there was no GRE consideration. Apart from that, we had only TOEFL. But I gave both of my scores so that I would be competitive when compared to others. So that's the way. And with respect to my department peers and all, everyone were like very welcoming, and they were answering all my questions, whatever dumb question I was asking. Why? Because I was new to these things, so what to do, what not to do, I was kind of confused. So everyone were like welcoming, and they were like answering what should be done and what not to be done. So that's how the program is. So you guys are good to go with the peers. So that's the thing.
Good. Thank you. ECE has been second to our CISE department for applications and enrollment from students from India. But we actually, they have room for more. They were just telling me that last week. So there are some good options in ECE that are very similar for CISE. So if some of you are worried about getting an admit, I would encourage you to consider ECE. And then also ECE waives the GRE, and we're giving the application fee waiver. So those are two benefits there. Another department has been smaller for students from India, a smaller master's program, but I know they want to have many more. So if you have interest in chemical engineering, I encourage you to apply and tell your friends for sure. Manan, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So applying in chemical engineering department is just similar to every other department. It is very easy. So if I remember, I applied back in November, and we had GRE waivers, but still I submitted my GRE score, and I received my admit by late January or early February. If you have any questions, just go on to chemical engineering website of UF. You can contact the admin people. So Kelly Shirley is very helpful. Gabriel Donaldson is very helpful. If you have any particular questions specific to chemical engineering, they are the people that you should contact. Then once you receive the admits, you will have many resources to access. If you have any questions, International Center, there would be many student organizations who would be ready to help you if you have any questions. Just like Yash and Manish said before, you have almost everyone to help you. You have WhatsApp groups, multiple website resources. So I feel application process is very easy for you and should not be a barrier for you in any case. Yeah.
Great. So you can see the smaller departments, Chemi, that was a January admit or early February. The largest one's taking late March and April for CISE. Manish, what was ECE again? When did you get yours?
I applied in the late December and I got my admit in the early April.
Early April. Okay. So that will be one theme I talk about today. Apply earlier. The ones that apply later, the backlog of the applications has already started, so it's going to take longer to hear. So here was the actual number for our whole college, all the master's applications for this fall. We usually have between 650 and up to 950 students enroll. So we were at 690 this year. But I know there was almost 100 students that they had visa issues in their country. It wasn't India, so that affected their ability to get here. And then we also had some problems with courses were filled and the students wanted to come and the classes were filled up. And so some of those students picked other schools versus waiting for us to open more sections so they could register. They panicked a little. So we're trying to address all of that for this year and get the admits out sooner and having all the class availability sooner. So hopefully that will go well. If you want to look at just India for this fall, see we have over 2,234 applications. So 50% of the applications, but a lot of those, I think maybe not 2,000, probably 17 or 1,800 were for CISE. So people applying to the other areas really increases their chances. But if your passion is CISE, then I'm not telling you not to apply to that. You should stick with your passion. And we had about 38% admits. We have a new interim dean this year, and I've been talking with him, and he wants to have more. So we're going to see a higher percentage. I don't know how much more, probably not more than 50%, but it could go from 38 to 50% as another 500 or 1,000 admits. And then 50% of those that enrolled were from India. So, but I've seen as much as 400 from India, but with the two new master's programs this year, it would not surprise me if we had 500 to 600 from India for fall 2024. Now the GRE is waived. All departments except CISE is the only one that's requiring it because they get so many apps. And then those were the scores below, and you heard the scores of our students. So we are not requiring the GRE. Is waived for every single area. Some of our students said they submitted it. Some of the faculty in the departments told me, even if the student submits it, we're not looking at it. We're just not looking at any of them. But some of the department faculty may look at it if it's really high, but it won't be considered for admission. I mean, maybe if they saw a high GRE score, that could only make them feel better about letting a student in, but they're not requiring it. CISE is the only one. So you do not need to feel like you have to submit it. Okay, so I asked the departments to get back to me on what exactly are you looking for students from India and other countries. So I know you're on the 10.0 scale. So they're really looking for students at the American 3.0 GPA and higher, between 3 and 4.0 GPA on our scale, which is a B average or better in America, which seems to go for many institutions in India to be a score of 6 or higher. But some of the schools that might be 7 or higher, but they're open to all of this. And then they each have different deadlines there. But I think you should all get your application in before the end of the year. And actually, if you got the application fee waiver for me, your deadline is December 22nd. So I cannot leave that application fee waiver open forever. So you've got plenty of time That's still 2 months and 2 weeks away, almost 10 weeks away. So get it in before the holiday break. Now, the CISE one goes to the end of January, and every year we're still going to have a lot of ones in that area wait to the end. But the longer you wait to submit it, the longer it takes us to review it, and the longer it takes us to get back to you with the admit. So I'm encouraging not to go by all these deadlines, but to get it in sooner. I think that will help your cause. Now, we have these 12 different engineering computer science departments, but we actually have almost 400 areas of specialization. And you've seen some of these if you've completed my online forms. If you go to this web link right here, you will see all of the 400 areas of specialization. So for example, when you look at AI or artificial intelligence, you'll find that in every one of our 12 engineering departments. We're trying to expand some of that in each area. So take a look at that, and it could be helpful to broaden your horizons to some of our departments where you stand better chance of admits. So here's the application fee waiver. So you're all hearing me talk about this. I've given out more than 1,000 of these. I'm giving them out every day, and I have been for 60 days, and I feel like I will be for the next 60 days. So if you want to be considered and you have not been considered for an application fee waiver, you go to this form right here where the waiver details, and it will take you no more than 1 minute to complete that. That tells us which department you want to apply to, which areas of specialization, confirming that it's for next fall 2024, confirming it's for a master's, and then a little bit of information about you. And then I will get back to you. I try to get back to everybody within a week is what I'm processing now. And if you're getting the waiver, I'll just automatically email it to you. And the waiver will have the deadline, which is December 22nd. And then it will have the instructions on how to apply. It does not work for CISE. So it's been programmed into our application. So if you get the waiver and you listed you're applying to electrical and computer engineering on this form, but then you go and try to apply for CISE, it won't work. It will error out. So it's programmed in that it will work for every department except CISE. It also only works for the master's degree, and we're only giving this to the international students. We're not even giving this to our own U.S. citizens. We're only focusing on the international for this. So there are some of our departments like chemical engineering, and they have a separate application fee waiver for U.S. citizens. If that was the case, shouldn't be any of you today. You would email and they would get back to you. If you are applying CISE and you don't get the application fee waiver because they don't offer one, do know that the fee is only $30. So it's very reasonable. Most other U.S. institution is $100 or more. So it's very economical. You can still apply. If you want to apply to 2 programs, you can. It's just a separate application for each one. Okay, I'm going to post all these. Ashley's going to post all these slides on the website. So hopefully this clears up the confusion, but feel free to keep asking the questions. All right, some other things you have to do when you submit your application is the statement of purpose. So what's some good guidance and advice from one of you 3 or 2 of you about the statement of purpose as these prospects are preparing?
I can go first.
Go ahead.
So I would say restrict your statement of purpose to 1 page, because if you are like directly coming after your BTech or BE, then I would say try to restrict it to just 1 page, and be sure to talk about your interests, why you want to pursue a master's degree. If you have any research experience, that is always a plus. So focus on what you want. If you are trying to go into some specialization, try to focus on how you have some knowledge about it, or how you have some experience about that particular domain. So that would be helpful. Discuss about some of your resumes pointers, if you have some gap in between try to discuss a bit about that. So I would say a statement of purpose should be very bold. It should directly be on the point. It should be a reflection of yourself and how you want to, like where you see in next 5 years once you graduate from UF. So that would be my advice. Yeah.
Good. Yash, most of the prospects like computer science. What's your advice?
I would say that my statement of purpose, or in general, the ones that I've seen, is usually you should just be to the point. You should, as Manan rightly said, that it should be at least keep it to 1 page if possible, or 1.5 page, but not more than that. Make sure that you mention everything notable that you feel, be it your project, which probably got an award, a hackathon that you participated in where you won a prize, a leadership quality that you you conducted an event. Make sure that everything is there. Like rightly Manan said, it should be a reflection of you, of who you are, because statement of purpose is just a piece of paper to the admission committee, which would help to get to know you. So since it's not a one-on-one interview with 4,000 applicants, like the Mike showed in the slide previously. So the statement of purpose should be a reflection of who you are and where you see yourself, and what would you like to get by doing masters at University of Florida. Yeah,
that's good advice. And restricting the amount is very important. In fact, our application with our UF Office of Admissions, it has only so many words that can be entered, and then it will cut off. It's not unlimited. But this is important because we have faculty reading 4,500 of these applications. They don't have time. If you just added one extra page, that's another 4,500 pages if everyone did that. So you do want to be succinct and get your thoughts across. Another big part of the application is the letters of recommendation. This is very important. Manish, you have some advice about this for the prospects?
Yeah, with respect to letter of recommendations, I would recommend people to get the letters from the professors or the employees under the managers they have worked well, and they know about themselves way better than other people, so that it would be a better shot for them to get into the admissions process. And with respect to that thing, you should have a good research related works and so on, so that it would be a good application for those.
Yes, that's good advice. Each of our engineering departments has their own websites. So beyond the websites I've sent you, if you haven't been there, and they will have the specific requirements, which can vary some for each department. So be sure to go there on those links. The other thing about letters of recommendation is, I think our Office of Admissions has on there that 5, you can upload up to 5, but that's ridiculous. We're not going to look at 5. The volume is too much. So only put 3, have your 3 best ones, and that will suit you well. So the cost is very important. It's often, it can be the #1 reason as to where you're going to go, how you can afford, and which school. So this chart here shows, it says we're in the top #1 and #6 for public universities in the country. Here's the other ones that were in the top 10. Excuse me. But what you will notice is we are actually #1 for the cost of tuition out of all these. So we feel like we have the best bargain for any of the international prospects. Not only are we #1 on the cost effectiveness, but we're #1 for cost of living. Excuse me. So if you look at those websites, you can see if you live in the cities of some of those other areas, how far the dollars stretch here in Gainesville. How about one of our students? Would you like to talk about the costs? Manan, you want to talk about the costs? What it would cost like to live here?
Yeah. So by my experience of past 1 year, I have realized that Gainesville is very cheap to live in. So if you would typically look at the rent prices here in Gainesville, they range in they are in the range of somewhere around $550 to $650 per month. But if you were to look at some other cities where some other universities are located, you should expect somewhere around $1,000 or $1,500 per month as well sometimes. So I feel Gainesville is very cheap to live in. Rent wise, you have good bus connectivity, which is free for the UF students. So it also saves you some money. You have many good restaurants, clubs here to entertain yourself on the weekend, which is, I feel, not very expensive here. So I feel you get a good balance of good education, pretty good savings on your part as well, financial wise, and a good lifestyle as well. So I feel, yeah, Gainesville is a very good place to live in.
Good. We'll talk a little more about the town coming up here. This link right here has the estimated cost, current costs now and estimates. If you go to that, it will break it all down. Some of those are subjective. We don't know how much a student's gonna spend specifically on each place they want to live or for their food and stuff, but it does give good estimate. And if you are ranking this and comparing this to other universities in the US, you will find we do very well, or among the best economical. So we do have some funding, and this is guaranteed. So even though we offer a tremendous rate at only around $30,000 a year for the tuition versus all these other schools at 45, 50, 60, we guarantee a $4,500 scholarship. So we don't have any limit on this, and you don't have to be reviewed for this. We make it very, very simple. If you're coming from another country, India or another country, so you're not a Florida resident, you're an international student coming on an F1 visa, if you apply to our master's program and you're admitted and you come to enroll, you automatically get this. As simple as that. There's no limits. And what we will do is we will take $1,500 off of your tuition for 3 semesters in a row. So instead of around $30,000, now it's $28,500. So we feel like this is a great bargain. It's one more good incentive that we can offer students, and it's been received very well. If you want the online program where you don't move to the United States or Gainesville, the EDGE tuition is half. It's much cheaper, so you don't get this additional $4,500 off of it. You're not coming to the campus. You're not using up all these resources here, so the tuition is reduced tremendously. So I know for some of you, this would be the most important reason why you would come to the United States, and that is to get a good job with the company. And we help our students significantly with that. We have a whole separate office, a whole unit on our campus that's their only job. Their only job in the University of Florida Career Connection Center is to help all of our students, bachelor's, master's, and PhD, to get jobs with companies or the government or organizations, and to get summer internships or even internships in the regular part of the school year, the fall or spring. That's their job. That's their mission. They have an entire team for that. We hold a big career showcase. Actually, there's over 600 companies that come now. That's twice a year. That picture, we have to hold it into the basketball arena that seats 15,000 people because it's so big. And then among all these companies come individually every single week of the entire year to meet with students separately, plus at the career fair. So who's been to the career fair, been to this office, that would like to share some of your experience? Manish or Yash?
I've been to the career fair and the UF Connection Center. Career fair is like a place where we have the career fair, like companies come and they try to organize their stalls, and they try to showcase themselves where what roles are present and what they require from the candidates, so that it's a good experience for students who are looking for jobs like internships and co-ops and full-time jobs opportunities. It's the place where you can explore a lot of things, like what's running in the market, and update yourself and learn new things. And gain more experience based on what you can improve on yourself and what you have to do to be the best among the people. So it's a good place over there. So yes,
And
you
when
can
do
take
you
on.
find most of this new master students are able to get internships? When did they go on the internships?
Most of the master students, they go on the internship they'll get the internship call mostly by end of December, and few of them they get by the end of March or April, but most of them get the internship calls sooner.
And they go for the summer?
They go for the summer internship, and
Okay.
few get extended it for the fall co-op too. So
Okay, good. Yash, do you have some experience with some of these? And then also I see like CISE, they're so big they have to have their own separate career showcase in addition to that.
Yeah. So talking about the career center first, I visited the career center at least 3 times before my career fair that happened recently. So they helped me with my resume, with my LinkedIn, and they told me like what all to put, what all to remove, because I had a resume that was tailored as per me for the companies. But then they pointed out like how it should start with an action verb, and how the resume should be tailored for companies, and if I'm looking for a specific role, how to tailor it for that. Coming to the career showcase, we do have a separate career fair just for the computer and information science department, because we have a lot of software companies, so we are unable to accommodate all of them together in the huge career fair that we already have. So in this career fair, there were at least 100 companies that had come over. Again, it was in the Stephen O'Connell Center, which is our basketball stadium at UF. And it was a positive experience talking to the recruiters and the talent acquisition specialists. So I feel that everybody would be benefiting from this, and hopefully everybody gets an internship and a co-op.
Yeah, that's just another example of how fast our programs are growing. So the last time I did this slide, there was 50 plus companies just for CISE, and now that's already grown to 100. So I'll make sure I update this before the next presentation I have for prospects next week. But it's not just CISE. We have other departments that also hold separate events with companies. SE is our department for civil engineering, coastal engineering, structural engineering, transportation engineering, environmental engineering. They get a lot of interest. ISE is our industrial engineering, systems engineering, engineering management, some of these other operations, research, operations management, and they're having lots of companies come to. So this is all very important. So, well, there's more stuff than just taking tests and going to classes and trying to get a job. There's having fun and social times when you're in Gainesville. And we have, I told you, a big Indian community, so much so we have our own Indian Graduate Student Association. So are some of you 3 members of this? You want to talk about this?
Go ahead. Maybe I can go ahead, Mike. So the IGSA is the Indian Graduate Student Association that is there in the UF, and it's a quite helpful community. Soon you'll be, once you get an admit, you'll be part of the IGSA WhatsApp groups who will help you with your accommodation, your process for the visa application, your flight bookings and everything. Like you can reach out to the members of the IGSA volunteer team. And we do conduct a lot of events, like right now we had a Ganesh Chaturthi, and we'll also be having a Diwali celebration soon. And Holi, you can see in the pictures that we do keep having events here on out. And that's our president, Sajid Muhammad of the IGSA committee. And it's quite fun to be part of the, to have our roots here also.
Yeah, so Sajid sent me all of this information. He comes on some of these webinars and broadcasts with us. He'll probably do some more this year. This was all the details he put together for the MIT group last spring for the ones that are here this fall. I'm not sure, do we already have separate WhatsApp group for next fall, 2024, or they still have to create those?
I guess they'll be creating those soon.
Yeah. So, but it's very easy to get a hold of any of us, and I can put you in touch. the students here today can put you in touch. You have their emails with these slides, and I'm going to give you more contacts before we're done, and they can go over these areas with you. Okay, I'm going to take a little break and let Ashley go over a few more important areas with you now.
Hi, so we have quite a few housing options. We do on campus and off campus. From some research that I've done, the Continuum seems to be one of the major housing for graduate students or working professionals, and a lot of Indian students live there. There's some other on-campus options as well. There's Corey Village, Diamond Village, Tanglewood Village, and then I have linked on the bottom of here how to apply for graduate or family housing. The maps to the side kind of show where some of these are located, whether or not they're all very close to the university, and they're all a part of the bus system that goes through town. Off-campus housing, there's a few links below for apartment rentals. And then there's also a housing locator offered by the University of Florida, where they can you can fill out a form and they can match you with areas that seem like they would work best for you. And there's also roommate matching, things like that. I have heard great things about the Pavilion and the Ridge at Gainesville, as well as Cabana Beach Apartments. Do any of you three have any information, like whether you live on campus or off campus, what housing you live in, maybe some information about cost?
Yeah, so I am living off campus. I live in an apartment complex called University Commons. It is very near to the university, and I would say almost all of Gainesville is very well connected via bus transit. So it should not be a problem to any one of you, like whether you are living on campus, off campus. So for Indian communities, there are certain stores as well here. So nearby apartments are also available. The Cabana Beach Apartments is very nice. This Ridge at Gainesville is also a good apartment complex. I have some friends living over there as well. The best option for you guys would be using this housing locator. You can find your roommates and you can explore many apartment complexes which are on the UF website. So I guess that would be the best option. And talking about the rents, it would generally be in the range of $550 to $650 per month. It could go up to $700 as well, but that is the typical range.
Thank you. Yash, do you have anything to say?
Sure, Ashley. So I'm also living off campus and Boulevard. This is also near the Butler Plaza, which is a marketplace where you have all the stores from Walmart, Sam's Club, Target, to a lot of eateries like your McDonald's, KFC, Chipotle. And the bus connectivity is really good. We have two buses which are running from our apartment complex, which goes directly to the university, the heart of the university, I would say, Rights Union and the hub. And my rent here is ranging from $450 to $590 on the higher side. And there are a lot of apartment complexes nearby, like Stonebridge is there and Greenwich. These three apartment complexes, I would say Boulevard, Stonebridge, and Greenwich are where usually the Indian students stay. So, and Stonebridge can work out a little bit more cheaper since it's a sharing room, and you can get the cost down to $300 per room also. Yeah.
Thank you. Just to speak a little bit more about the bus system, we have the RTS City Bus system that is free to all UF students just by showing your UF ID. It goes all over the city of Gainesville as well as throughout campus. So pretty much every single apartment complex that you would find around the University of Florida, off towards Butler Plaza, over by the Oaks Mall, the RTS bus has stops throughout the whole day to all those areas. And then some facts about the university itself. We have 42 NCAA national championships. We have one of the largest football stadiums, as well as our basketball arena. I know lots of students attend the football games. We have a big student life when it comes to tailgating, football games, and our baseball and basketball, volleyball games, they're all free to UF students. And then the Gainesville area, it's been around for a really long time, settled around 1854. Our population has increased some within the last couple of years. We're almost to 150,000. Our temperatures are around 81 degrees. So usually year round, it's fairly warm here. The winter, we do have a few times where it dips down, but it's usually a warmer, humid climate. You're very close to both the Gulf and the Atlantic, to different types of beaches. We have St. Augustine, Jacksonville Beach. You're 2 hours also to Tampa and Orlando, and 90 minutes to Jacksonville. Orlando has lots of different amusement parks such as Universal, Disney. Jacksonville has Topgolf. There's a lot of different social environments in these areas. Gainesville is definitely ranked high as one of the best places to live in Florida. It's number 13, and it's also one of the best college towns in all of America. It's number 11. Do you guys have any input about the area, how the climate is, things that you do around here for fun?
So the weather here, talking about the weather, it's very pleasant year around. The summers can get a bit hot, but still it's just 2 or 3 months. It's fine. You have ACs in your home, so it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, year around the weather is very nice. It's cold. You should expect rain like once or twice a week at least. So speaking weather-wise, it's very good. You have, like Ashley said, you have both coasts in like 1 hour drive at best. St. Augustine is a very good place on the Atlantic coast. So if you are looking for cold water, go to the east. And if you want a hot beach, go to the other side. So yeah, there are many good connectivity options to the big cities like Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville. Miami is like 5 hour drive. So if you are looking for some good trip, then that is also an option for you. Gainesville has I would say, a pretty good downtown and midtown vibe. Where students go for weekends. So I would say, yeah, living in Gainesville, the lifestyle is very good. You have everything. You will have a good time studying. You will have a good time entertaining yourself to other things as well.
Great. Manish, do you have any comments?
As Manan said, the same thing. Mostly, Gainesville is a good place for the students. Like they can concentrate on their studies and they can have good times. And apart from that, there are lots of clubs from UF which we can take part, and we can be a part of those. So it's a good place for students to explore their passion and gain new experiences coming abroad.
Great, thank you. Here's some pictures of some of the amusement parks, such as Disney, Universal, and then a few pictures of St. Augustine Beach and downtown Gainesville.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ashley. Did one of you mention about the India stores or restaurants in Gainesville?
So it is near Stone Ridge. It is called India Bazaar. That is a whole block of Indian stores, Indian restaurants. So it is near to Stone Ridge in Butler Plaza, like Yash mentioned before, where a majority of the Indian students live. So it is like a walking distance to there, but still it has a good bus connectivity. So it won't be a problem even if you are not in Stonebridge or nearby complex.
Right. Thank you. Okay, so if you have not completed that link on that top form for your master's interest and to be considered for an application fee waiver, then you need to do that. That only takes 30 seconds to a minute. Again, you have to pick which department, what are your areas of specialization, etc. And that's how you be considered for the application fee waiver. We don't have any for CISE. So if you pick our Computer and Information Sciences engineering department, then you will not receive one. But if you do want similar areas in ECE, you can get one. And then for our new applied data science or artificial intelligence systems, but those are in engineering education. If you don't select engineering education department, those sub areas won't pop up. So I check those every day, and I'll be checking them again this afternoon and giving more out. There's other details on the admissions and prospects and even a separate page for India. So feel free to review all of those. This is the link where we're going to put all of these slides and recordings. Ashley will probably have the slides up later today. The recording will be either tomorrow or early next week, whenever we're able to get the recording from College Pond. And then we'll have other events, and we'll continue to post them there. We will do admitted webinars in the spring with differing information, and then we will invite those that are admitted and then post them there as well. So here's all the direct contact information for all of us. For the 5 of us, feel free to get a hold of us at any time. We can answer your questions. We can refer you to others who can answer your questions, and we'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. There are also, these are the key staff in each department. So these are the graduate staff or the graduate faculty who are overseeing the admission in that department. So this is important. When you submit the master's application, it goes to these people. So they are processing the app. They are working with the faculty to decide who's admitted, and then they're putting it in the system and sending the admit offers. So you want to stay in touch with these people. So some of them give you their direct email, it's an email group. So maybe it's them and 1 or 2 other people that are also helping process it. So now you have all of the direct information. Now, the other thing I've done is I've asked more of our students from India and other areas if they would like to help you with your application and any questions you have. And we can't have them all on this webinar. So they said, just give my information to all of these students and they can get a hold of me directly. So here's a list of all of these other people by department, our current master's students that want to help you. So you have that information. So there's no reason you can't get all your questions answered about anything it is that you need. Okay, so this is everything we have, but I'm sure we have some questions now. So Arjun, you want to direct that for us?
Sure, let's start with the questions. The first question is, if I want to apply to 2 departments separately, will I have to send my TOEFL scores twice?
I think you can just send it once because it will be in the admissions office system. But, you know, we're a large university with so many thousands of apps, so we're going to make some errors. There's no doubt about it. You just need to be on top of it, submit the application to one department, then submit the second, and then just send me an email or the graduate staff in that department, and we'll make sure we get the connection made.
Sure. Okay. And are Duolingo scores accepted for the master's application?
I forget. For some reason, I'm thinking they're not. Do you 3 remember?
I don't think they're accepted, I guess.
Yeah. Does anybody heard of a student where it was accepted? Yeah, I think Florida doesn't accept that.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. A lot of students have applied for the Spring 24 intake and are waiting for their decisions. Any particular timeline that, for them?
So this is a mad rush. Almost most of our engineering computer science students start in the fall. So I actually just downloaded the applications this morning for spring. I seen 850 applications total. So instead of 4,500, in some years we get 5 or 5,500 in the fall. So it's a much smaller number, but nobody starts even looking at them until September, October, and then the students have to get here by January. So sometimes the time runs out before they even get a chance. So when I looked this morning, there was 180 students that were listed as admitted out of 850. But the clock is ticking, right? But what I also noticed is some students applied incorrectly. So I've been giving the master's application fee waivers every day for the fall, and some students in the last 2 or 3 weeks have been applying to spring. That's the problem, because the application deadline, the latest one was September 1 for the spring, but our admissions office leaves the application open. So if you applied after September 1 for the spring, it's probably too late. But you can get a hold of the graduate staff and say, you know what, just update that application I already submitted to the fall, and then we'll do that for you. So I'm thinking the admits are going out. Really, they need to get them out by the end of October, or you don't have time to get the visas, right?
Yeah.
But we can update anybody's to the fall.
Sure. So the question was also regarding that, would you give out the admits on a rolling basis, or would you give it at one particular time?
No, it's rolling. So each department's doing it differently. The large departments, it takes them much longer. The smaller departments can get them out quickly. But all these meetings I'm going into now, and I'm having another one next week with the deans and all the faculty chairs of every department, the messages, try to review the masters sooner and don't wait. That's the message this year.
Okay. So I think Ashley posted the link in the chat. I think only TOEFL and IELTS scores accepted for the application, and not Duolingo.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay. And the next question by Dhanush. Hello there. SOPs can be over-glorified. So how do you differentiate between an honest student or a student who's over-exaggerating?
Do one of you students want to take that one?
I would like to take it. One thing is like it depends on your experiences and the exposure you would have got from the universities, and you'll be submitting your resumes too. So they'll be comparing both of these resumes and SOPs, so that if you're like over glorifying yourself on the SOP and the resume doesn't show you're glorifying, so it could affect your chances of getting an admit. So I would recommend be yourself and try to be to yourself. That's the thing.
Okay. And another question on the SOP. The SOP word count for the CS is 400 to 500 words, which is very less to express our interests and works. Is it mandatory to have only 400 to 500 words, or can I extend the word limit a bit?
No extensions. You figure out a way to highlight your best things within that. Remember, they're getting over 2,000 applications. They don't want anything extra. Absolutely not.
Okay. I have applied on 30th September, but till now I have not got my admit. Can you please tell me when? By October end is by roughly, I think you should start getting offers. So please wait till October.
If you want to know your specific case, email me your name, your email, your institute, which department you applied, and then I will look it up. And if I can't answer it, I will send it to the grad staff that has your app, and we'll get you an answer.
Noted. Are there any options to pursue a career in cybersecurity?
Oh my gosh, lot in electrical and computer engineering has lots of cybersecurity. Computer science and engineering has lots of cybersecurity. Part of the new engineering education AI degree in applied data science. We have a whole Florida Institute of Cybersecurity right here on our campus.
Okay. Does University of Florida accept a 12+3? Like if the student has a BSc IT instead of a 16-year education, he has 15 years of education. Is the candidate still eligible?
And last I heard, you needed a 4-year bachelor's degree. Yeah, that's pretty important.
But in some cases, Mike, what happens is some institutions allow with a WES evaluation.
They said that it's probably not going to be a blanket rule. It's going to be a case by case. So email us with a little more specifics, If it's CISE, I'm going to say no, because look, they're getting, close to 2,000 apps and they're only going to be doing 600 or 700 MITs. They can't admit them all.
Okay. How many LORs are needed if one has a certain decent amount of work experience?
How much what?
Letter of recommendations, LORs.
Oh, 3. 3
And
letters.
in the case of a working professional, can it be 2 from the organization and 1 from college, because it's been a decent amount of time working?
Well, it can. I mean, nothing's going to stop the student. You could submit 3 from a company or where you worked, but the best case scenario is at least 2 from the university and 1 from the work. But if you don't have it and you need to reverse that, then you still submit the 3.
Okay. The next question is by Vishnu. Could you please provide a brief explanation on the Florida Semiconductor Institute?
So this is brand new. We just got a new faculty member. I forget his name, and he's one of the leading experts in semiconductor and has a big grant from the federal government, one of the top ones in the whole United States. And we just hired him in May, and he came over the summer and is just ramping this up now. So it's a very new and exciting area, and you're going to be hearing a lot about this. I imagine in the new Malachowski Hall for Data Science and Information Technology, there's a brand new semiconductor lab that's just getting ready to open up. But there should be a web page for that. You can send, and I'll find some other faculty to refer to. But yeah, I don't know all of it yet because it's so brand new.
Okay, good to hear that. It's great development. What percentage of domestic and international students get scholarships or grants from University of Florida?
Well, it's really PhD versus masters. All of our PhD students have funding fellowship packages. Most of our masters do not. But I hear that some of them are able to in their second year if they're willing to do a teaching assistant or a research assistant. But most of the ones that just come, not so much. Now, if you come and you let it be known with the faculty right away, you are going to want to continue with the PhD, and you truly do, and they give you research assignments, that could increase your chances. But don't expect that your first semester here.
Okay. Yeah, it also depends on what your rapport is with the professor. So it's first you have to build that.
Yes.
When is the regular application deadline for fall 24?
If you get the application fee waiver, it's December 22nd. And it says right in that, I'm going to cancel the app fee waiver after that. It will no longer work with the admission app. So December 22nd. If you do not get it, it's per department. And I put the slide in here. One of these slides tells you every department. It went from late December to maybe late February, and a couple went into March. But if you wait till March or April, you're not going to hear back for months. It'll be too late.
Okay. The next question is regarding a PhD application. I saw an option to shift from master's to PhD in the second year with 3 professors backing you. In long term, if I pursue a PhD, so should I select my master's with a thesis? And how do I opt for it in case I want a course with a thesis versus a non-thesis?
So you apply for master's, and if it allows you to select thesis track on the application, then go ahead and do it. If it doesn't, you just, once you're admitted, then you start letting that department know that's what you want. So you register for the right classes when you're here, and you try to find a faculty to start the research. If you're not able to do that for your first semester, it's okay. You can pursue that once you get here. But usually you would not switch to the PhD till after 2 years. And then you would have 3 additional years, and you would get funding for those 3 years for sure. Once in a while, a student can start that in their second year, but that depends on your connection with the faculty and if they have funds.
Okay. The next question is, can a low GRE score hamper my admission chances even if I have a good GPA?
Well, it only matters if you're applying CISE because none of the other departments require it. You don't have to submit it. If you apply it to CISE and you have a lower score, you probably won't get admitted because that's one of the things they're using to decide who gets in. So you take that test again then.
The next question is there any extra weightage for a certain set of institutions in India? Like there are a few IITs, NITs, or
Yes.
VITs. Are
Sure.
students given a higher preference?
Well, we have some India faculty in CISE, and they're on the committee to decide who gets in from India. So they're going to be familiar with the best institutions, and I'm sure the top ones are going to get some preferential treatment, right? Just like it would in the American institutions.
Got it. And can you talk a bit about the class diversity as to what is the percentage of Indians versus Chinese versus Americans in the class?
So we put the slides for that up. We have 3,300 students in our College of Engineering and Computer Science, and 1,000 of them are from India. You guys want to talk about what it's like in your classes?
So it depends upon your department, but if I would talk about particularly chemical engineering, so we have, like, I would say 30 to 40% of Indians in my master's batch, and the rest are Americans. Some are from other Asian countries. So it basically depends on your department and how many Indian students are there, but the general ratio would be something like 30 to 40% of maybe Indians, and rest would be the other country people.
Okay, so that's true for smaller departments like chemi or biomedical or materials.
Yeah.
It'll be quite different. CISE, Yash, you want to answer that?
In my classes in particular, I have noticed that there are a lot of Indian students, I would say. But we do have a lot of other students from other countries, such as from China and Vietnam, or even from America. Even in one of my courses, we have a mix of undergrads and grads together pursuing one course. So in that, we do have a lot of Americans compared to the Indians. So it all depends on the courses you take, and on who all are taking those courses.
Yeah, a general rule is of the undergrads, 80% are from the state of Florida. So there's a lot of American. But on the graduate side, 75 or 80% are from other countries.
Okay. The next question is, does University of Florida accept a stream change? Like in case I've done a bachelor's in ECE, but I want to pursue my master's in computer science, will I be eligible?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. I usually do. I forgot. You can be in any engineering or computer science in your undergrad bachelor's, and you can apply to anyone in the master's or the PhD. They do not have to be the same, but the chances of getting admit is if they're at least similar. So lots of CS will apply to ECE and vice versa because they're very similar. Just like lots of chemi might apply to material science engineering or vice versa, or biomedical and then go to be a hospital and the doctor or something. So yes, you can do that.
Okay. The next question by Rohan. The AI program page on UOF page shows pending approval. What does that mean?
Yes, thank you. I forgot to mention that too, because these are two new programs. So we have a lot of bureaucracy because we're very large with 60,000 students and 20,000 faculty and staff. So there's many stages and steps. And the new Masters of Applied Data Science and Masters of AI have been approved by the state of Florida to have degrees by the university. And then there's other internal stages where we have to approve. So the internal stages for Applied Data Science is already done. And the internal stage for AI is in the final steps. It will be done in 1 or 2 months, but we can't wait to let everybody know about it or you'll miss out. So don't worry about that pending. Now, let's say you're ready to send in your official admissions app right now, and I gave you the fee waiver. Artificial intelligence is not on our admissions app yet because they can't put it on there until it's final. So what do? You just apply to the Applied Data Science in the same department, engineering education. We will know, put a comment in there that you're AI or email us. And then once it's official and on there, we will go back to everybody and say, who wants to stay in this track? Who wants to move to the other one? So we'll have a few snags. We're getting it off the ground, but we still want to fill it up full.
Okay. We've answered almost all the questions. We'll take a few questions, last few questions. How much part does GPA play in my application?
So they're not as focused on it for the master's versus the PhD student, but they do like to have students that are at least a B or better. So A student or B student, because we've let some in below that before, and some can do well and pass the classes, but some can't. So we don't want to let the students in where we feel like they're not going to pass the classes. Usually if you're an A or B student, you're going to do very well here.
Okay. The next question is, I had prior research experience and I'm in the process of writing my paper, but it hasn't been published yet. Can I still mention it in my resume or in my statement of purpose?
Yeah, you can mention it, but make sure you make it clear that it's pending, it's not completed.
Okay. Is the MS in data science program only for a student from a non-computing background?
I don't think so. I think you can have a computing background, but they just created the website and I didn't get a chance to read every detail, and they haven't had a class yet. So I like to look at the patterns of who actually applied and who got admitted and who's here, and they haven't done it. But what they told me is, tell all the students with computer science or ECE interest that they would be a good fit and we're interested in them. So I'm going to believe what they say.
Okay. And the next question is, in case a student has done a diploma for 3 years in India and then done a bachelor's for 3 years, in that case, is the student eligible? Yes, you are, because you have 16 years of education, Rishikesh, so you are eligible for the application. Okay, I think we've covered all the questions.
Yeah, we've had all these questions. Why don't we just let each of our 3 students just give one piece of advice? Is your final comment to the prospects? Manish, you want to start? One quick piece of advice.
Yeah, I would say people to keep it simple and precise. Try to be yourself in your SOPs, and then it's like being yourself is the best way to get into getting things done. So yeah, I would say that.
Okay, Manan.
Yeah, just as Manish said, be honest, be to the point. Everything, all of your documents should be a reflection of who you really are, and be on the top of your game in terms of completing all the tasks, like getting the application done, getting done with all other paperwork, with the visa appointments, everything, and you'll be good.
Okay, Yash.
Yeah, I would say, like they rightly said, that be to the point, be precise in all your application throughout your application process. I would also say that connect with your peers, stay in touch with them so that you know what is happening in and around, what the timeline is, how the timeline is going around, and do connect with your seniors if you do get an admit, and we will help you from there. If you have any doubts or questions regarding accommodation, your visa interview process, your how to book your tickets, etc. So stay connected with us, and hope to see you here soon.
Great. Ashley, your departing words?
I would just say that make sure your letter of recommendations, you have 3, and I wouldn't go for having more than that. I think, like Mike said, they probably will be looked over. It's easier to just have the 3 main ones that really speak towards you. And make sure when you're getting your letter of recommendation that you're reaching out to a professor that actually knows you as a person and can speak more about you, rather than someone who's going to write just a general recommendation letter as they would for another student. The more in depth and close to you as a person that your letter of recommendation gets, the better your chances are.
And my closing thoughts to all of you are to know that University of Florida loves the students from India. We find them to be very hardworking, very honest, very appreciative. They want to be here. It's a win for them to be here. and it's a win for us to have you enriching all of our programs. I will get back to anybody that gets back to me. I get at least 50 emails a day or more from India students, and I respond to all of them. And to consider our new programs in applied data science and artificial intelligence systems.
Well, I'd like to thank all five of you for very patiently answering all the questions, for a very informative session, and very graciously answering all the questions. What we'll do is we'll shortly send out the presentation with the recording to the students by tomorrow, and all students can feel free to reach out to any of them or the contact details provided in the presentation to the students. So until the next time, thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Good day.
Right.